Welcome to this month's Kick-Ass Confidence. I'm Amelia, life coach for confidence and career for women. And today I have the pleasure of introducing you to Demetra, who I met earlier this year with the Teenage Mentoring Project.
Hi.
I'll just introduce you quickly. A manager at the PCYC Balmain, and you found time to also do some volunteering, mentoring for 4 years in a row. And Demetra, also, I had the privilege of witnessing you get the Amy Large Award for Inner West Volunteer of the Year. So thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me. I'm very excited.
My pleasure. So would you like to first start by sharing a bit about your role at the PCYC?
Yeah, so I'm the club manager at Balmain PCYC. Been there about 4 years now. But I originally started in PCYC almost 12 years ago as a volunteer doing my student placement when I was studying. So kind of just worked my way up from volunteer to casual to part-time and then manager about 6 or 7 years ago.
Wow.
So yeah, I've been at a few different clubs.
And you started through volunteering. So it just goes to show sometimes don't assume that volunteering isn't going to lead to paid work.
Exactly.
Fantastic. And so why volunteering for you in particular?
There's always been something in me that just likes to get out there and help wherever I can, regardless of pay or not pay. Like even in my role as the manager, you've got your set hours that you do, and eventually, you're going to do some extra love hours, we call it. And I always even do beyond the love hours. I help out at other clubs as well if they've got events. And I don't know, there's just something in me that always just wants to do it.
That's fantastic. So is it about the people? Is it about the organising? What's the thing that you enjoy the most?
It's kind of a mix of everything, to be honest. I just love getting amongst things in general, but also just being involved and helping out and seeing people that need my help and I can help them, then why not? It just makes me happy, I guess.
Oh, that's so nice. And in particular, why the LinkedIn mentoring program in the inner west of Sydney?
I obviously started working at Balmain, and I didn't really, as a manager, you get to see the young people and you get to see the work that you do, but you're mostly about organising the program, organising the activity, getting a facilitator. So you're not doing as much hands-on work as I guess I would have liked in terms of that groundwork, because I come from a community background. So when I was working part-time in PCYC, I was working with Homeless Youth Mission Australia and, kids affected by sexual assault or domestic violence, things like that. So I had all this experience that I now wasn't being able to tap into or to use or to even go back to. So the minute that council said they were looking for volunteers, I was like, of course, like it's direct hands-on work with youth. And I thought maybe I could help them in whatever capacity I could, and then probably get something out of it for myself as well. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And so you found out about the opportunity through your work. So it's something that was distributed.
Yeah, the staff from council sent out emails and we were on that mailing list. So I just happened to see it and signed up.
It's for me.
Yeah.
And in terms of the transformations for the teenage girls, what kind of things have you seen? I know when I did it with you this year that there was body image things, public speaking and cooking. What kind of things have you seen over the last 4 years?
There's been specific examples that have kind of stuck out to me from even the first year I did it. There was this girl, she had the longest hair and would literally wear it right in her face, just all day, every day. And so you see that from the first time you meet her and you're just like, oh, okay, she's a bit withdrawn, she doesn't really want to engage. And then just within I would say even a month, I would start to notice the difference and seeing, it's only once a week, right? So even within 4 or 5 weeks, she would start to turn up and not have it right in her face. And then by the end of it, she literally had her hair tied up, like in braids and things like that. And it's just this sense of, you're not doing anything direct. You're not sitting there saying to her, you need to be more confident or you need to come out of your shell. None of that happens. But just in seeing all these different activities and just her being able to see the mentors working with the other young girls and just this sense of everyone's welcome. Everyone is who they are and who they are is okay. And it just kind of reiterates in her this, it doesn't matter, I don't have to be hiding behind my hair all the time. And that was the biggest example that I always hold on to, just because I think it was the first year I did it, so it was just really impactful for me.
Yeah, and I love that obviously the environment felt safe enough for her to come out of hiding and to connect with other people and seeing other people connecting with each other as well. And I found all the mentors tend to be coming from all different walks of life and really a lot more comfortable in their skin than we probably realized before we went in there, because we were like, that's what it was like to be a teenager. I forgot. Yeah. And in terms of that, what do you think the mentors brought to the experience every year that you've gone?
Like you said, we just all come from very diverse backgrounds. So the fact that we're all coming together for one common purpose was already a big thing for the girls, to see that there's these adults that are actually here for us. They're actually giving up their time for us every week. They want to spend time with us. They want to teach us things. They want to have fun with us. Is in itself such a big thing for them. They're used to having adults around as authority figures, you know, a teacher, a parent. It's very different having an adult mentor around that's not there to tell you what to do or to direct your life, basically. In that sense, I think is probably one of the biggest things. But then also just our different experiences, our different interests, because there's some girls that might have been harder for me to connect with because I'm not very sporty, so I don't really have too much to offer in that respect. But then there's other girls that we will talk about TV shows and music that we just both love, even though I'm a 30-year-old woman and they're 14. So
yeah, I love seeing that connection among different people and people who are into anime, cartoon and stuff like that. We found a mentor and a student that were just like, this is awesome. What kind of transformations have you seen in yourself as well as other mentors in the program?
I think, like I mentioned, because of my role being so more administrative, I guess, at my work, it's really kind of awoken this passion that I've always had for working with youth, and it's lit that spark again to be able to be so hands-on and to see the differences that I'm helping to make in these young people. Sitting behind a desk and making things work for the kids is amazing, and I love my job, but again, just being on that ground level just really gave me a bit of a jump, I guess.
The passion, that's awesome. Yeah. And who would you recommend volunteering or being a mentor to? Literally
anyone. Like I said, because your interests could be in line with one of the young person's interests that another mentor might not have. So I don't think there's any specific skill set that anyone needs to have, because obviously you need to have some sort of compassion and humanity, but I think most people have that already. So the other things are things you can learn, and they offer training and take courses and stuff like that as well. So you're never left on your own. Council's very supportive with their staff, volunteers, everything. So I think really anyone could do it that just had the interest and passion and time for it.
And the teenage girls or boys, would you say certain particular types of kids would benefit more than others?
Yes, I think obviously kids that do have a bit of a self-esteem issue or do have a bit of a lack of confidence, they could definitely benefit the most. But in saying that, I think all kids could. I just think that there's benefits in the program overall. Obviously, because of the scale of how many kids and how many mentors and things like that, you need to be more selective. So obviously kids that could do with a bit of support in terms of making them feel comfortable to express that leadership quality they might have that's been hidden.
Leadership and kids getting more confident to speak louder when they do their public speaking, make more eye contact, not use a lot of filler words. I was just one girl in particular, but from the beginning to the end, I was just floored at how confident she became. It was awesome.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. She was pretty impressive.
If your teenage self was sitting next to you, what kind of advice do you think she would give you as the adult self?
Don't be so nervous and kind of just let things happen. Because even, going into the program each year, I'm a bit more confident each year as we go because I've done it before. But then at the beginning, it's always like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to help these kids. I don't know if I'm going to offer anything of substance. So you have that initial fear, but I think just go with it is the phrase, I guess.
I love that, because we forget that even though we worry about certain things as teenagers, I think there's less inhibition. And as we become older, I think we put more pressure on ourselves. Women in particular, we can be more perfectionistic and undervalue what we bring and not really see, all that goodness that we bring just by being who we are. So it's nice that you said that. And what advice would you give your teenage self, knowing what you know now?
I think actually I'd say the same thing. Just thinking of how I was back in high school, just go with it. Like, I was always very confident and vivacious, but I think I held back a little bit with some things. So maybe the same thing. Just go for it.
You recently got married, congratulations, and went on an awesome honeymoon. So you went to parts of Europe and elsewhere, but how did you pay tribute to your favourite singer, Ed Sheeran?
So one of his latest songs, Castle on the Hill, because I knew we were going on the honeymoon and I knew we'd be seeing lots of castles along the way, I wanted to do a video of me dancing outside a castle on the hill. So when we were in Edinburgh, we were going up to Edinburgh Castle. I said to my husband, this is the one, it's perfect. It's the perfect location. It's the most amazing castle. we have to do it. And it's like, okay, what do I have to do? I literally said, hold my camera and record me. So I pressed play on the phone, gave it to him, and I stood at the front. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? I said, you know what, just do it. Just go for it, because you're never going to be here again, or maybe not for many years. So you're going to regret going back home and not doing it.
Yeah.
So I just started dancing. And it was fun.
I saw the video and I laughed a lot, and I have inspiration to do some chair dancing with you now. Is that cool?
Yes.
Such a good song. So, how do you bring your passion working with youth to the PCYC? You're saying that in your role, it's hard to connect with people in what you do as a manager.
So I just decided to develop programs that I'd run myself. So rather than just doing things that I could let other people run, I decided I'll just make time so that I'm organising it, but I'm also facilitating it.
Fantastic.
So we've kind of just grown our school holiday program exponentially. So we're booked out every holidays, and I'm running cooking classes and boxing workshops, science workshops, everything you can think of. I'm just trying to get it myself so that I can actually interact with the young people.
That's awesome. And there's been a real need, hasn't there? Parents have been jumping on it.
Yeah, exactly. Parents are calling me from 3 months in advance. So we've got January holidays coming up. I had people calling me from October saying, oh, is your program ready for January? I'm like, no, I haven't even thought about it.
Wow.
So,
and are other centres starting to think about doing that for them as well?
Yeah, so other PCYCs kind of took my lead, and now it's kind of statewide. We're all doing it, so it's been a great program for the kids to just get involved.
It's such a good thing to show that, you know, sometimes in a role you don't have to just do everything by the books, and if you do have a passion and you know that there's a need out there, absolutely just explore it. And, you know, the first year it wasn't that successful, right? And now look at it.
We had 5 kids the first year. I was so devastated.
Yeah, and that's the first year though, and that's actually it's a success because you had people. But now, how many do you have in your rooms?
We try and cap it at 18, but I'm always a bit of a softie, and when parents beg me and they're like, please, can you just fit one more? I ended up going up to 21 one of the days, but it's just our facility's so small that you just don't want to, you know, overcrowd it. But
you can't. Your heart bleeds. Can't say no. Too sweet. Can you define what true confidence is to you?
I think it's a bit multifaceted. I mean, it's very easy to just say, just to say and do what you want. But I think there's just so much more that comes before that and also after it, because you've got to sort of weigh in. What does it mean to just say and do what you want? Like, you can't just go around doing that, because there are repercussions. There are, you know, you have to be considerate of other people, because we all live in the same planet. So you can't just do what you want with no consequence. And I think if something's not going to hurt someone, go for it. Do what makes you happy, make sure it happens. But there's always going to be things that, you know, you feel like maybe I should consider other people. And I think that brings into this whole thing of humanity again I keep talking about. But to live cohesively is for everyone to feel their true selves. And for everyone to feel their true selves is to be considerate and compassionate as well. And so if you're not able to think of other people in terms of what your actions mean, then it's not really going to work, because you're not going to be truly comfortable and truly happy. Because if you realise, I'm doing this makes me happy and that's it. Well, yeah, but then you've ruined someone else's life if you've done something that's, you know, doesn't work with them.
Yeah.
So I think coming to that agreement, or to that sort of understanding that it's good to live your life and do what you want and make yourself happy, you know, obviously is paramount, but just that side part of consideration of others. And I just think that sort of stuff grows over time. You can't just kind of wake up and be like, I'm confident and that's it. Like, I think you need to go through some things and to understand how those things affected you at the time in order to grow your mindset.
Yeah, I'd like that. Definitely self-reflection is a big part of how you do grow your confidence, and realise that the pain, sometimes going through painful, uncomfortable situations, is a point to grow from. Yeah. And I do think that, a moral compass is so important. Yourself, you don't want to be hurting yourself, you don't want to be hurting others or the planet. Yeah. The planet is also part of that, because our future generations as well will have to live on this planet. And we'll have to answer to them in our own conscience. In terms of your career success and success in community work and connecting with people, what would you say are your top 3 attributes?
I have to say my confidence.
That's why you're on this call.
Yeah, I haven't been as upfront and sort of acknowledge how confident I am as a person for a long time. Like, it's only kind of a recent thing that I've really come to be aware of, I guess. But it really is at the forefront as to why I think I'm so good at what I do. So yeah, my confidence would be number one.
And would that be because you throw yourself into things without fear, that you don't have fear about connecting with other people and putting your hand up for things that you may not have done before?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. I'm not as reserved as I used to be, or I used to sort of think I had to be. It was that whole thing of, oh, no, you're supposed to be like this, you're supposed to be like that. But just growing older, I mean, you realise these things. You're just like, well, actually, no, I don't have to do anything.
And where did you get that belief? I have to be more reserved. I'm just curious.
I think just growing up in, ethnic cultures and school and stuff like that, there's just different things that are drummed into you that this is the way you're supposed to lead your life. And so you grow up kind of, some people don't, but I was one of the people that believed it all and just kind of held on to it all, and took some growing up in my 20s, early 20s, to really change my mentality about that.
Ethnic cultures as well is sometimes like women should be the nice one and not ask for things or be demanding.
Obviously travelling, I can't stress how much travelling helps with that sort of stuff.
Absolutely. So, and travelling, you think it had a big impact on your confidence? Yeah.
Especially travelling on my own, that kind of just throws you into it, because you have to learn to be more resilient and more independent.
Awesome. And what would be the other two?
I guess just my general passion. That's always how I've been. I'm very, I'm just very passionate about everything that I do. I'm a very excitable person. So no matter what it is, if it's work, if it's fun, nothing, I just throw myself completely into things. I'm so ready to do everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a fun approach to life, right? Yeah. Everything's an adventure.
I think so.
Does it ever get tiring? Do you do downtime?
I mean, yeah.
Sleep when I'm dead. Bon Jovi.
And probably the last thing, it's a bit silly, but I don't see myself as a grown-up, I guess, in sometimes. Like, obviously with work, I'm very responsible and professional, but as a general, I don't think, I'm a 30-year-old old person, older lady, whatever. I still feel like I'm 16 sometimes, and I don't let the seriousness of life really take over.
That's an attractive, I think, thing in terms of work and connecting with people, right?
Yeah. There's just so much bad and serious in the world, and we have to acknowledge that stuff, but I think day to day we can live with a bit more fun in our hearts, and
big time. Big time. And laughing, it's just so good. It's so therapeutic. They even do laughing yoga in parks.
Yes.
There's something to it.
I want to join that.
Yeah. You should lead one. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Because you're not busy enough.
Yeah.
The top 3 attributes to look for in your staff members. Yeah.
Same as me. I just think that those things work well when the other person mirrors those things. So if I had staff that are really serious and just kind of like, no laughter, no nothing, and their passion wasn't really there, they're just there because it's a job. Yeah, I think it'd be hard to really lead a team with those people. So,
yeah, definitely. You've got to have that alignment of values.
Yeah, which is why all my staff have been my students first. I've hired 4 people that have been my students when they've been studying.
Oh, wow.
So they've come and done their work experience with me. And then at the time, everything just lined up and I had a staff member leave, and then I'd hire the one that was working there as a student. So
again, work experience. Experience got 4 people jobs. Good message. Do you have one mantra that you live your life by? We're getting an essence of it at the moment.
Probably just go with it, which is a fairly new one for me, to be honest. Yeah. It seems to be working for me at the moment. So
don't fight it. Don't fight the current. And
even like you're questioning something, sometimes it's still good to go with it, because you might learn something new, or things might work out differently, and so you never really know. So if you had an idea of the way you want something to go, I think just go with it and see what happens, and you can deal with the aftermath later. Yeah,
exactly. And things don't have to turn out how you imagine them, but you'll still grow your comfort zone and learn stuff along the way, for sure. Love it.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to mention the trivia night that you've organised that's coming up, I thought we could end with that.
PCYC Balmain, we're having our end of year trivia night on the 13th of December at Dick's Hotel in Balmain. So we're raising money to just continue running youth programs. But what I didn't mention is that they're all either free or really cheap. So in order to keep them free or really cheap, we need to keep the money coming in all year round. So that's what we're aiming to do. So
fantastic. And that's the 13th. Is that a Wednesday or Thursday?
It's a Wednesday night. Yeah.
So in 2 Wednesdays.
So,
yeah, I'll post this and put the details underneath. That's kind of a wrap. So I feel like that was a really great chat. And I guess some of the main takeaways, volunteering actually can lead to other opportunities of networking, of getting job, paid work, following your passion, and where that leads you to, you don't know where. And, you know, and you did get acknowledged for that with the award, which was really cool. I was there and very proud and cheering along. And I'd say another thing is not to stress so much. You gave that advice to your teenage self. She gave it to you. Just go with it and see, you know, how your life and story unfolds. So
really thankful for you having me on your web series.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. It's been awesome meeting you as well, and I look forward to working with you again.
Hey.
Thank you so much for your wisdom and time.
Bye.